Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In today's video I'm going to be bringing you another review of a magnetic embroidery hoop. This is another hoop by the Sew Tech company, and today we're going to be reviewing the PA940MK, and there's a little bit of difference between the last hoop I reviewed and this hoop. And what they are, I'm going to hold up the previous hoop here, and that is this one here. And you can see that this one has the button style magnets, and this particular hoop has the bar style magnets. Okay, and you can see those there. And this particular hoop is an 8 by 8 inch or a 200 by 200 millimeter. And again, I'll hold that up. Okay, so it also comes with your little pamphlet for your instructions, and this is what the actual magnet looks like. And you get 8 magnets per hoop, and this is what the magnet on the previous hoop looked like. Okay, so what I thought I would do is I thought I would review another hoop that offered different style of magnets, and that way you could look at the different styles that there are. Now in this one, these magnets do hold a little bit better because they do kind of cover across the top, so it does give you a preference on what style of magnet that you like. I do like these magnets. They do the job without any problems, but these magnets are a little bit more coverage, so it does give you the option of what style of magnet you want. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to pause here. I am going to go to the overhead camera, so what we can do is I can show you exactly how you are going to hoop with this style of hoop and the magnets, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have us here on our overhead view. I have my fabric batting and my fabric stabilizer and batting all ready to go. And what I will be showing you today is I'm going to be showing you a design that's going to be a little more densely stitched. On my previous videos of the reviews for the magnetic hoops, I showed you a sashiko style quilt block, and this is really simply stitched. And on the second review of the PA194MK, I did another sashiko, but a little bit larger and in a different color. And what I'm going to show you today is I'm going to show you this bumblebee, and it's a little bit more densely stitched, but I wanted to be able to show you that with a magnetic hoop you can stitch out more densely stitched designs. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to set that aside. What I first would like to talk about is the hoop itself a little bit more, and again the pamphlet of the instructions that come with your hoops. I really love the fact that Sew Tech includes such an in-depth pamphlet to get you started. It has your regular user instructions. When you open it up, it goes a little bit more in depth to your user instructions. It tells you about your center marks. Then it shows you how to properly use your magnetic bars. These are called bars compared to the magnetic buttons on the previous video. Okay, or they also call them magnetic blocks. They have it as magnetic blocks here in the instructions. So whichever way you want to call them, blocks or bars, either way. Okay, again, it tells you different ways to hoop, and it's your hard to hoop fabrics and finished garments. So you can do regular stabilizers, you can do sticky stabilizers, you can do hard to hoop garments, then you can do embroider on quilts or other sturdier fabrics, and that's what I'm going to be doing. So I'll have three different layers. I'll have my stabilizer, my quilt batting, and my fabric. Okay, and then on the back it shows you freestanding lace, standard embroidery, and then it tells you also about endless embroidery and how to advance through to do your endless embroidery. I really do love these instructions, because if you are a first-time user of a magnetic hoop like this, this is a really fantastic in-depth instruction sheet. My experience with other magnetic instructions for other magnetic hoops, this is basically all you get. You just get a simple little printed piece of paper that tells you user instructions, and that's it. But with this Sew Tech, it goes so much further in depth. Okay. You can also see here that their hoops are patent protected, which is very good as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into the hoop and the magnets themselves. Okay, so like the other ones that I have reviewed, they also come with your template. Let's go ahead and take our magnets off first, and these are very easy to remove. And they have this little notch in each one of the bars, okay? And you can either choose to stack them. Be very careful, because you can still pinch yourself, and they stack very easily, okay? And I'm going to just set them aside single, so it saves a little bit of time when we are actually putting our stabilizer on. Now, on this particular hoop and the template, it has a little bit more than the other type of template that came with the button style hoops, the button style magnetic hoops. It has just a little bit of extra touches added to it, and I really do like these. Since I do a lot of quilting, I like that I'm going to take the piece of fabric here so I can show you what I mean. I'm going to lay it out, and hopefully with this color of fabric you guys can see it a little bit better. So it has a little arrow here at the top, and what that does is it has these little marks on your hoop, so you know you are placing your template correctly back onto your hoop. It has your center, where the center hole is to drop your needle down. Then it has these little center marks here, like your little plus sign center mark. Then it also has additional ones here, 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 and here. And it also has the line that goes all the way up and down and across. So I like this template just a little bit better than the other ones. The other ones are just as well, but I think I do prefer this one a little bit more than the other ones. Okay, so what we're going to do, we are not going to be using our template today, but before I put our template away, it also does have the hoop size and name right here. So this is the PA940M, and it says PA940M here as well. But this is, when you are looking for this particular hoop through Amazon, you're going to search as the PA940MK. And the MK, what the difference is it is going to give you the bar type of magnet, okay? So the 940M is just going to be the button style magnet, and the 940MK is the bar style magnet like this, okay? Now, we're going to go ahead and put the template aside. I'm going to grab my fabric, and I have cut my fabric just a little bit larger than what I need because I may do 2 different stitch outs on this piece of fabric. I do not know yet. So I do have it cut a little bit larger than what I need it to be. Okay, so I have my stabilizer. Our hoop size is an 8 by 8 inch or a 200 by 200 millimeter. And we are going to go ahead and put this down. I have about 1 inch above and below, and I have about a 1/2 inch on each side, and that is plenty. I'm going to put my stabilizer down, or my quilt batting, and I'm going to make sure that I have it laid out exactly what my stabilizer size is, and that way if I decide to do another design on this piece of fabric, I will be able to do that. Okay, so on my fabric here, you can see that I did not press my fabric. You can see that I have my center marks on the fabric. And the reason why I did that is I at first thought that I would do, that I would center it up on the template, but I decided I don't know if I want to do that. So I'm going to just kind of make sure that I have it on there. And okay, so I like where I have my stabilizer, and we're just going to leave it at that. Make sure that I have everything laid out okay underneath. Now, when you do your bar magnets, there is a little bit of a trick to get your fabric nice and tight. And what you're going to do when you do your bar magnets is you're going to place this portion, so where your little notch is to pick them up, you're going to place it flat down on your fabric or your stabilizer, and you're going to drag it across to the edge. When you fill the edge of the hoop, you're going to just place it right down. Okay, so I have that right up against the edge, right there, and then I'm going to take the next one, and I'm going to do it on this side as well, like so. And I want to make sure that I have that moved down enough. Then what I'm going to do is, what I like to do, you can either start in the middle or you can start at this one and drag all the way across to the next side. And there we go. And then you can do this side. And like so. And I can feel that they are right on the hoop. And you can see that my crease lines are starting to disappear. So now I'm going to take the next bar for the bottom. I'm going to kind of start in the middle, and I'm going to drag down as well. And I'm going to go this side and drag up. And the same with the second one. And I kind of just like, and there we go. And now we have our piece stabilized. Now if you do need to pull it just a little bit more, you can do that. Then pick up and flip over. And I do have a couple little wrinkles in my stabilizer, so I'm going to just kind of pull it, make sure everything is nice and tight. And I pulled a little too much and popped that one right off. Go ahead and put that back. Okay, so we're okay. We're going to make sure everything looks okay. From this side, and okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pause the video, and I am going to bring out the embroidery unit. I'm going to move the machine forward, and I am going to show you how you again attach it to your machine, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have my embroidery unit attached to the machine. I have my hoop ready to go, and we're going to go ahead and just calibrate my machine first. I'm going to set the hoop aside here, and I'm going to make sure that I have my machine calibrated. So let's go ahead and do that first. And there we go. I'm going to select my design. And I should have, again, had this done ahead of time, but I wanted you guys to see exactly what you have to do. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the largest B, and that is a about 5 1/4 on almost an 8-inch B. So I'm going to make sure that I select that one and make sure I have it correct in my machine. Okay, I am going to, let's see, I want to go back. Let me go back. Sorry, guys. Okay. We're going to do the number 3B. And I'm going to make sure that I have my correct hoop selected. We're going to select our 200 by 200 hoop. And okay, I'm going to make sure I'm going to hit. Okay, so it's telling me for some reason my design is outside my, let's see if I can just move it. There we go. Okay, so now it's telling me to go ahead and attach my hoop. For some reason I've noticed that on some of the designs, it will tell you outside of the hooping area, but if you just manually move your design in the machine. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to attach the hoop to the machine, and I have my bracket and the attachment on the embroidery arm, and again I like to hold my, I'm going to move that aside, and I just push it till it clicks, like so. And I'm going to hit OK, and I will be right back. Okay, so I didn't have my machine threaded, and instead of taking up a lot of time in the video, I went ahead and paused to go ahead and thread the machine. Now, I have it all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and hit start. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you guys watch a few minutes of it, and that way you guys can go ahead and see, and I will progress through the embroidery, and when we're about halfway done I will pop back on and show you how it's doing in the hoop, and then we will continue with the rest of the embroidery, and then when it's complete I will come back on and show you again how it's looking in the hoop. Okay, so let's go ahead and start. Okay. It went to its starting position. I'm going to hit start. I'm going to pause so I can cut my thread tail. I like to cut my thread tails as soon as possible. Okay, here we go. We're going to go ahead and continue. I will just let that stitch for a couple minutes so you guys can see that. And moving on to the next section, and I am showing my bobbin thread for some reason, so I am going to pause for just a moment, adjust my bobbin thread, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. For some reason my bobbin thread was showing, so what I went ahead and did is I removed it off the hoop, or the hoop off the machine, and I went ahead and unthreaded my machine, checked my bobbin, make sure everything was clean, and now we are okay. So I'm going to go ahead and re-hit start, and we're going to go ahead and let it stitch for a minute. Okay, and you can see that we have the hoop. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and pause here. We're going to let it continue stitching. When it's about halfway done, I'll pop back on, pause the stitching, and let you guys see how it is doing in the hoop. And we'll be back in a couple minutes. Okay, so I'm popping back on for just a moment so I can show you about halfway complete of this design. I'm going to go ahead and remove the hoop so you guys can see it. And I forgot to cut my thread. Let me just cut there. And this is halfway of the design. And you can see that there is no pulling on the hoop at all or on the fabric. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it back into the machine. I'm going to cut this bobbin thread really quickly. Okay. I'm going to place it back into the machine. And I'm going to start. I have to put in a new color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Set aside really quickly, and I'm going to go ahead and pause and continue stitching, and when we get finished with this design I will pop back on, let you guys see the final stitch out, and we will go from there. Be back soon. Okay, so we are about 2/3 of the way through this design. Again, I'm going to take off the hoop and show you guys what it's looking like. There's just a little bit of, I don't know, like a ripple right here, but that's just the design. The hoop and the magnets are standing up really well. Nothing has been loosened up, and it is looking pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and continue with the final third of the design. You can see it's stitching up quite well, and I'm hoping that the colors are turning out okay for you guys on screen. It's a little bit kind of washed out, I think, because the yellow fabric, but hopefully you guys get the idea. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and trim my threads here before I stick it back into the machine, and then restart. And again, every time I put my hoop back into the machine, I make sure that I hold the stitching arm, or the embroidery unit arm, not the stitching arm. I don't know where I came up with stitching arm. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start on this next color. This is a very dense design with a lot of color changes. It does only use 6 colors, but you're changing them quite often for the stitch out. It is a total of 32,208 stitches. Right now we are at 21,800. I'm going to go ahead and pause, let it continue stitching, and when it's complete, I will be right back. Okay, so I have just finished the embroidery. I'm going to go ahead and take it off the machine. And there we go. Hopefully you guys can see that okay. I really do like the way this stitched out. I think I'm going to use this hoop a little bit more often for when I'm doing my quilting designs. Okay, so you can see the design, there was just a little bit of, I don't know if you guys can see, it's got a little bit of a ripple right here. And that's just because the density of the design. I am going to clear my design. Okay, I'm going to clear. I'm going to move my embroidery unit, and that way you guys can see just a little bit better here. Okay, so overall, this hoop I really like for my quilting. I like that it's got 2 bars, 2 magnetic bars on each side. And like I was telling you in the embroidery instructions, the little pamphlet that comes with it, I keep on calling them bars, but in their instruction little pamphlet, they call them, what do they call it? Sorry. They call them blocks, magnetic blocks. And I keep calling them bars. So whichever way you want to, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so like I said earlier, when I showed you when we were about 2/3 of the way through the design, this particular design has over 3,200 stitches. I believe it was 3,200 and 203, something like that. So it's a pretty intensive design. There are a lot of color changes on it. There's a lot of thread tails that don't get cut in this particular design. When I was doing my stitching, I would trim my thread tails often. So a good pair of scissors is really good for that. Sometimes I have found on some other hoops that when you are stitching, if you do not have your stabilizer or your fabric in your hoop tight enough, trimming your thread tails can kind of loosen stuff up because you are kind of like manipulating under the needle and you're pushing on it. So if a beginner is going to be, doing your thread tails and trimming it and everything like that, this is a great hoop because it did not loosen up. Let me, you guys can still hear that is drum tight. You can see a little bit of pulling on the back, and that is because this is a very densely stitched design. And I selected this one especially for this. I wanted to know how a densely stitched design was going to handle this particular hoop. And truthfully, guys, it did really, really well. Okay, pros and cons. I really don't think right now I have any cons for this one. Pros, love the 8 magnets, 2 per side. Love the stencils. That way when I am going to be using this for any other type of quilting designs, maybe some edge to edge, I can find my centers and my lines accurately. So that is going to help with edge to edge quilting designs. Guys, I really like this hoop. I really do. And again, the previous video was the button magnets. I have that hoop here. So the previous video was the button magnets. This video is the bar, or the again, the block style magnets. So through Sew Tech, you are able to select what type of magnet style you want. And there is, I believe there's just a little bit of a price difference in this style, the bar or the block style magnet. Okay guys, let me know what you guys think, and I will be back with you guys with another video soon. Alright guys, thanks. We'll see you next time.